I move that Senate House Bill number 1007 be read for the second time by title only.
It has been moved that House Bill number 1007 be read for a second time. Are there any objections? Hearing none, the clerk will now read the title of the bill.
An act relating to the requirement of establishments and schools to post the National Human Trafficking Resource Center hotline. Posters creating section 387 of the Florida statutes, providing legislative intent, providing definitions, providing guidelines, providing penalties, providing enforcement, providing nullifications, and providing an effective date.
Representative Denhoff, you recognized for 3 minutes to present your bill.
Thank you. Let me tell you a story about a 14-year-old boy who was recently brought into the U.S. He worked at a restaurant as a cook. Even though he started work at 3 a.m. every day, he did not get paid because his family owed a large smuggling debt. He tried to ask customers for help, but he could not communicate well enough in English, and he was constantly being watched by the owners of the restaurant. When this boy cut off the tip of his finger while working, the restaurant owners dropped him off at a hospital where he was finally rescued by police and social services upon discovering his circumstances. This story is a perfect example of human trafficking that occurs every day in Florida. This story is an example of forced child labor and debt bondage. Human trafficking is modern-day slavery through forced labor and commercial exploitation. Statistics rank Florida as the third highest trafficking destination in the country, and half of all trafficking victims are children. Major forms of human trafficking include forced labor, bonded labor, debt bondage, involuntary domestic servitude, and forced child labor. The victims of trafficking are often immigrants, homeless, or runaways. Human trafficking is a horrible crime that thrives on the secrecy and isolation of its victims. As a result, identifying victims, traffickers, and their networks is extremely challenging. One significant tool for bringing human trafficking into the open is the National Human Trafficking Resource Center hotline, or the NHTRC. The hotline connects callers to law enforcement and services that can save their lives. For victims, the public posting of the hotline is critical, since victims generally do not have access to the internet or to other forms of help. Posting these signs with the hotline information increases the chances that human trafficking will be reported, victims will be rescued, and traffickers will be prosecuted. I propose the posters be placed in such places as the rest stops, truck stops, bus stations, restaurants, train stations, airports, and hotels. And I yield my remaining time to my closing.
The author has yielded 1 minute to their closing.